advice will I give to matured singles? I'm aware that there's something one of my friends used to say, executive singles, those in their 30s. My grandmother will always say something, that nobody will marry your husband, nobody will marry your wife, nobody will give birth to your own children. So whatever God has destined, whoever God has destined to do life with you has been assigned by God, and God in his infinite mercies will not allow that person to pass you by. Yes, you may feel like time is going. Whose time? Your time or God's time? I want you to ponder on that. Whose time? Your time or God's time? And I want you to know that yes, it's not easy when you have people calling you auntie or brother, getting married in the family. We are in touch with these realities, but then you serve a living God whose timing is not your timing, whose thoughts are not your thoughts, whose ideas are not your ideas. He has a plan for you. See, like I said in my previous response, you need to find purpose. There are so many people, I have so many friends that have even found purpose. They are doing a lot of things for God. They are making exploits, they are destroying the cankles and the barricades of the enemy, yet they are single. Let me tell you something, God is preparing you for a journey ahead. Let me encourage you to know that it is important to note that if you carry a very great destiny, if you're a glorious man or woman, I will always say this because I'm a gender person. I love to reach out to both the male and female. If you are somebody with a big destiny, know that you are not just going to marry just anybody on the streets of Lagos. You're not just going to marry any person, and you're not just going to be ticking boxes. You need to marry somebody God has assigned for you that will help you to fulfill your destiny. Don't forget that the shortest cut, according to Pastor D.K. Olukoya, the shortest route to hellfire is to marry the wrong person. That's the shortest cut. You don't need to do so many things. You don't need to commit so many atrocities. But once you're with the right person, of course, the right person does not mean that person is perfect. Does not mean that person is without fault. But then, the faults will be at least to the barest minimum. Something you can cope with, something you can manage, because you yourself, you are not perfect. So, one of the things I would like to advise is, so work on yourself. Now, can you marry yourself? If you were to put yourself in the shoe of the other gender, if you're a good man, can you marry yourself? Can you advise your sister to marry somebody like you? Work on yourself. Work on your character. Work on your attitude. Work on your walk with God. Because marriage is an institution that has been set up by God. And if you leave God out of that equation, you're going to have a very hard time communicating with God. So, you need to have a walk with God. Walk, W-A-L-K. You need to have a walk with God where the Holy Spirit is telling you things to do per time, per minute, per second. Married people will attest to the fact that you need to be hearing God. You need to be in spirit every now and then, 24 hours if possible, so that you do not make a mistake. And you need to marry somebody that hears God. Because, if you believe, because time is going, let me just marry somebody, let me just become let me just become somebody's wife. Let me just bear let me just wear the ring, or let me just change my status. I kid you not, when you enter, you will not say that, wow, I should have waited. So I want to encourage you, work with God, find purpose, make sure you are doing something, do something with your time. No man or woman wants to marry a liability. It was in those days that our fathers, our forefathers would say our women should sit down at home and tend to the children. But the economic situation of the world, not even Nigeria alone, would mandate that both man and wife will put their hands on the deck to make sure the family moves forward, to make sure that the children and the needs of the home are catered for. So you just been at home sitting, waiting for Mr. Right. Then also reposition yourself. I say this again, reposition yourself. Where do you go? You go to the clubhouse and you're looking for tongue speaking, demon smashing brother. I'm not saying that you should go to the church and for the sole purpose of getting a spouse, but then make sure that you're in the midst of the kind of person that God will have you marry. Ensure that you have the right circle of influence. Who do you listen to? Who are your mentors? Do you even have somebody that you submit to? You need to have a voice that God has placed over you. When they say sit down there, you sit down. When they say pray, you pray. So many singles out there, they believe they can do it all on their own. You need to have a spiritual covering, a spiritual head. If not in terms of business purpose, at least in terms of spirituality, so that they can guide you. So when people are doing a lot of things with no form of accountability, who are you accountable to? Those are the questions. I'm just listing out these questions that you need to answer in your secret place. Do you have a voice over your head? The voice that God has ordained for you. See, when you wait upon God, God will show you, God will connect you to your helper of destiny. And everything is not in terms of financial gains or monetary or material gains. These things, sometimes you just need a word, a referral. Oh, I know this person. Oh, do it this way. And then you are there.